What's good, good people, and welcome to the Silly Nerdy, Sometimes Wordy podcast, and I'm your host, BK. This is episode 10, spoiler review of the film Transformers: Rise of the Beast, spoiler review, and a Nerdy Notes update, sports edition. In this week's episode, we're getting into a spoiler review of the film Transformers: Rise of the Beast, spoiler review. And we're getting into our nerdy notes. We're going to have some fun facts about the NBA Finals, unique facts about the Ja Morant suspension story, and a quick NFL free agency update on some notable free agents. All right. Let's get into the nerdy notes. And as I mentioned previously, we're getting into the NBA Finals first. What's up, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well. Thanks for coming back and listening again. So, the NBA Finals have recently concluded. And it was, the winner has been decided is the Denver Nuggets, winning 4-1, 94-89 over the Miami Heat. And this is the Denver Nuggets' first ever NBA championship. So, in their 47-year history. So, that's great for them. So, congratulations to the Denver Nuggets out of the Western Conference. Now, let's talk about this owner, which I have mentioned in previous podcasts, as you have listened. But the owner of the Denver Nuggets is Stan Kroenke. Now, if you remember that name, like I said, I mentioned in previous podcasts, because Stan Kroenke, he owns the Colorado Avalanche and he owns the Los Angeles Rams. So the last, let's say 2 years, couple seasons, it's been a very profitable couple years for Stan Kroenke. Because as you know, in February 3rd, 2022, his Los Angeles Rams, this NFL team that he owns, they won their Super Bowl. And then later that year, the Colorado Avalanche of the National Hockey League, they won the Stanley Cup June 15th, 2022. And now recently, this past June 12th, his NBA team that he owns, the Denver Nuggets, they won the Larry O'Brien Trophy, as players like to call it now, the NBA championship. So it's been a very, like I said, profitable last 2 years for Stan Kroenke, winning an NFL Super Bowl championship, the Lord Stanley Cups championship of hockey, and now winning the NBA championship, the Larry O'Brien Trophy. So 3 championships in the last 2 years. That's pretty amazing. And he owns all 3 of those teams, by the way. So it's pretty great. Okay, let's move on to another NBA story. An unfortunate story, but it's been widely reported. Well, it's now out there that the NBA has suspended Ja Morant of the Memphis Grizzlies for 25 games to start next season. The reason why he's suspended because he's had a firearm, again, posting on social media in his car. So this is going to hurt him and his team to start next season, the 2023-2024 season. But the reason I wanted to bring this up, I wanted to talk about the money aspect and some of the things that he will be missing out on. So Ja Morant is a really great superstar NBA player, super guard, and he has just re-upped and signed his extension in July of 2022 last year. He signed a 5-year, $194 million deal extension with the Memphis Grizzlies last July. So he's going to be suspended for the first 25 games of next season. So reportedly, he's going to be losing $304,545 per game for 25 games, which brings that total to a little over $7.6 million that he's going to be losing out of. That's just with his NBA money. I don't know if he's going to, who knows, he's going to lose any of his sponsorships, other non-basketball money, but he's losing a potential of $7.6 million just based off of losing these first 25 games, not being able to participate. Not only that, because he's missing 25 games, I believe the new collective bargaining agreement kicks in, and 65 games is now the minimum requirement to be required for awards, postseason awards. So with him missing these 25 games, it takes him out of the running to be considered for the league MVP, for defensive MVP, defensive player of the year, for all NBA. And I believe also, I think it takes him out of being considered an all-star for All-Star Weekend. So this takes him out of multiple, if not all of the awards for this upcoming NBA season. So, which also there are money incentives and tied to you winning those awards, which he will lose out on, at least for this year. So that's unfortunate. Now let's move on to the NFL. So recently, Dalvin Cook, which is now formally of the Minnesota Vikings, he has been released, and he is now a free agent. He now joins other free agent running backs, i.e. Ezekiel Elliott, Leonard Fournette, and Saquon Barkley. He's not a free agent. He just hasn't signed his franchise tag yet. Don't know if he's going to. They're working on a deal possibly. But so that has recently happened with Dalvin Cook. So now he's out there for anyone to sign. DeAndre Hopkins still remains unsigned. He has recently reportedly visited with the Tennessee Titans and the New England Patriots, but he left both of the facilities without a deal signed. So interested to see where he goes, as well as those other running backs that he goes, where they go. All right. Now let's move on to our main topic, and that is the film Transformers: Rise of the Beasts spoiler review. And this film was not directed by Michael Bay, but I believe he was an executive producer on it. So, the film. I enjoyed the film from start to finish. I thought it was pretty good, really good. It had a start, finish, start, beginning, middle, and end. So the film starts out in Cybertron, where the homeworld planet of where the Transformers, the Autobots, and Decepticons are from. Briefly spent time there. But what I liked about this is it spent a lot of time on the human characters in the beginning of the film. And also, I should mention that this film takes place in the 1990s, which I thought was really cool. So, because you'll see how the music kind of goes in and out of the film. It's almost like another character. But I like how the beginning of the film, you don't get to you start with the Transformers and Cybertron briefly, but you spend a lot of time with the two lead characters and the supporting characters as the humans, kind of building those relationships, which I thought was pretty good. Also, once you get to the Transformers, they slowly start to get, introduced into the film, there was a brief moment, a brief line that was mentioned, a brief comment between Optimus and Bumblebee, pretty much acknowledging the Bumblebee movie from, I guess, a few years ago. That movie was set in the 80s, but just the fact that there was a line that was set in there, and it acknowledges that the movie has happened and it's in this universe. I thought it was really cool. It was quick, right to the point, didn't waste any time, and just moved on. So I thought that was interesting and worth mentioning. If you saw the Bumblebee movie, of course, from a couple years ago, Haley Steinfeld was the lead actress in it. John Cena was in it as well. But check it out if you haven't seen it. The action sequences I thought was pretty great. All the CGI stuff looked really good. The interactions between the Transformers amongst themselves, as well as the human interaction, I thought it was pretty cool, especially when you hear some of the actors talk about, how they have to interact with someone holding a stick, which is ultimately going to be the Transformers once they do all the CGI stuff. But really great job with that. I thought everything was good with that. And also Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime. Always great to hear that voice. He's amazing job with that. And like I said, the movie takes place in the 1990s, and you can tell because particularly the specific music, the genre of music that they're using in this movie is the 1990s hip hop and R&B music, and it is shown. You can tell right away, and so it's just very very cool that it was used throughout the film. Especially there was a particular scene. I won't say. I mean, it was a particular scene when Bumblebee kind of came out of the airplane. They played LL Cool J's song "Don't Call It a Comeback," and I just had a good laugh when that song started playing and he was coming out of the plane. So it's a really cool moment when you see it. So I thought that was pretty cool. And like I said, the rest of the music kind of influences the different scenes. So I thought it was pretty awesome. Okay, and then there are 2 mid post-credit scenes. So I thought those were pretty cool. And one of the mid post-credit scenes confirms kind of a rumor that's been out there for a while. There's been a story saying there's going to be some type of G.I. Joe Transformers crossover movie with having the 2 IPs, the 2 franchises be in one movie. And in one of these post-credit scenes is a conversation with the lead actor and someone else. And at the end of the conversation, he hands him a card. He turns over the card, the camera zooms in, and then it says G.I. Joe on it. So, which confirms that this rumor that's been out for a couple years that they're talking about this G.I. Joe Transformers crossover. So if they put that in the film, it's pretty much confirmed that they are working on it. It is happening. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'm not sure how that would work with, G.I. Joe and Transformers, but if you could do humans and Transformers, it's, pretty much the same thing. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, like I said, I enjoyed the film. It was fun, had a good heart to it. Yeah, it was a great film. Okay, now let's talk about takeaways because we're getting to the end. This is a quick podcast here. My takeaway for this week's podcast is that, one, there are a lot of good movies out there this summer. May, June, July, a little bit in August. So if you have a chance, go check them out. Next on the list, The Flash. Excited to see that. Haven't seen it yet, but I'll be seeing it soon. So And then my other takeaway is the Ja Morant situation, the suspension. He got 25 games. He's losing a good chunk of money, but it seems kind of small in the grand scheme of things, provided the money that he just extension he just signed for with the $194 million, plus the money he's already made from his rookie contract and all the other sponsorship deals, off the court stuff he's made. But $7.6 million is still a lot of money, any way you cut it. But my takeaway is that I hope that young kids out there that are wanting to be possibly in the NBA or just in the whatever sports league, if you are potentially one of those very high finite 2 or 3% that make it into the professional league, that get drafted and you get to play this game for a living, that you're working on it. I hope that kids see this and learn from it, as well as the people, the good people influence that are around them. Like, hey, you see this is a lesson. You don't need to do that. Don't be that guy. Don't jeopardize your future earnings because you're doing something silly. So I hope they can learn from that and just have that stick and say, I don't want to lose millions of dollars because of doing this or because of having these kind of people in my life. So I hope they can just kind of put that and just kind of remember that and just kind of be motivation. Like, I don't want to lose any potential of being drafted, potential of getting to that second or third contract or sponsorship. So I hope kids and people around them and parents see that and just kind of continue to put that in here, that don't be that guy. So learn from it. That's what I'll say. Learn from it. All right. That is it for this week's podcast. This was a quick one. Like I said, just wanted to talk about the Transformers Rise of the Beast film and a few sports stories. So I hope everybody enjoyed this. It's great to get on here again. Hope everybody's doing well. And yeah, tell your friends about it. We're kind of everywhere to listen and download. But that's all I have for you this week. Until next time, we will talk soon.